Basically, there are unique challenges in those different ecoregions. And in the Lake Victoria Basin, the challenges was basically low fertility issues, which we were trying to solve using the legume species. So we were able to develop soil fertility replenishment strategies, which were able to reverse the degradation aspect. So basically we worked on improved fallow technologies on the farmlands, where we are integrating legume trees with crops in order to improve on soil health and also improve on yield productivity. Basically farmers there grow maize and beans for their food, and we're able to improve the maize yield from about 0.5 tons to about 3 tons of maize. That was quite a remarkable increase. So we're able to disseminate those technologies to various farmers and stakeholders. We are also able to build the capacity of those particular farmers and stakeholders to be able to upscale some of the technologies that we developed in the Lake Basin. We're also able to introduce technologies for production of wood and timber, where we are promoting trees for boundary planting and also scattered trees in the cropland to be able to increase the productivity of those particular farms. The other challenge was soil erosion, which was quite rampant. We're able to introduce some technologies like hedgerow intercropping, which could be able to control soil erosion. At the same time, the species we are promoting were able to provide fodder for the livestock, high quality fodder. In this part of the country, farmers cannot be, the poverty levels were quite higher, and farmers could not afford to buy fertilizers and also the food supplements for the livestock. That's why we were introducing the legume species. We were able also to develop technologies with the researchers there for restoration of degraded forests. Good example is Kakamega Forest, Maragori Hills, and also Wire Hills. And I think we have come up with successful technologies for restoring those particular landscapes that can easily be adopted by various stakeholders. In Central Highlands, I was able to work in Aberdares and Mount Kenya landscape, where we were able to map those forests in mapping and also quantifying the biodiversity in those particular areas. By mapping those particular forests, we're able to know the degradation levels so that we can be able to come up with the proper interventions to be able to restore those particular degraded landscapes. In the drier areas, of course, there are also unique challenges. In the drylands, basically the problem there is lack of moisture. Drought is quite rampant in those asal areas. The other challenges is the grazing of animals, shortages of fodder, and people keep a lot of animals, and that leads to degradation. So we were able to basically come up with the technologies which can be able to restore those landscapes, degraded landscapes, using a tree component. And we came up with the various tree establishment techniques which can be disseminated widely. We're also able to select species for which are drought tolerant, for adaptation to climate change, And the key species are basically Melia volkensi and Acacia totalis, which we have done the selection and be able to establish various seed orchards. We've been able to establish various progeny trials, and now we are moving from what we call F1 generation to F2 generation. Lake Victoria Basin really contributed to my earlier growth in terms of research development, and this I can attribute it to the mentorship that I got from the various senior scientists that I've worked within those particular region. We were working very closely with the scientists from ICRAF. I worked very closely with a scientist from the University of London, and that really contributed to my career progression. We were able to develop a lot of research material, the way from the publication in the refereed journals. We also document our successes in terms of conference proceedings. We were able to produce guidelines and manuals which were being used by as training material by various stakeholders. So I think during my earlier career, apart from the mentorship, there were quite a lot of resources in terms of projects which were able to facilitate the various successes in terms of developing the technologies and publishing those particular results. So I think that really, the earlier mentorship, I think, contributed to my successes. If I can mention some of the scientists that I worked very closely with, one is called Dr. Keith Shepherd. He's a senior research scientist at World Agroforestry Center. He really took a lot of time to work with me during my earlier stages of my career. The other scientist is Dr. Laurent Bresch. He was also working with ICRAF, but currently working with the Rice Research Center of in the Philippines. The other scientists, I think, who were quite instrumental in my career progression was Dr. or Professor George Kadish, who was from the University of London and currently working in a university in Germany, and also Professor Ken Giller, who was also at the University of London but currently working at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. So I think those, if you Google, I think they are quite recognized scientists worldwide. And I think if you work very closely with such a scientist, you are able to gain some milestone in terms of your career progression.